guys, this is Neo for Tagged Online, and today I am going to be ranking all of the romantic comedies that you can watch on Showmax. Let's get started. This is how my ranking system works. We start off with I am ghosting, which is the lowest tier. It means I don't want to watch this, I don't want to be with you, I don't love you anymore, and I'm not even going to bother to let you know I'm just ghosting. And then the second last tier is the ick. So the ick is when something repulses you or bothers you about a person or a thing. You may not be able to put it into words, but you just don't like them. It's not as bad as I'm ghosting, but it's pretty close. And then the third last tier is I wouldn't say no. And this is kind of the middle lukewarm tier where it's like, you're not my first choice. Like on a Saturday night, I'm not hitting you up first. But if you hit me up, I wouldn't say no. And these are the movies that are mid-tier. Maybe you'll watch them if they're on TV. But when I'm on Showmax, I'm not seeking out this movie first to go and watch it. So the third tier from the top is where we start to get into the good stuff. I named it Puppy Love because Puppy Love is just so light and wholesome. And it's just liking someone and then them making you feel happy. So these are the movies that you really, really like. You're not absolutely obsessed with them, but you like them. It's sweet, it's fun, and that's Puppy Love. But the second last tier is Gone. So when you're gone, when you're a gone girl or gone boy, you're just like to everyone, don't call me, don't text me, I'm in love, guys, I don't want to talk to any of you. And this is how I feel about the films in these tiers. And then the first tier is Soulmates. So the Soulmates tier are the films that I think are just classics. These films are amazing. I would recommend them to a friend. I would recommend them to all of you guys, and they're just top tier quality romantic content. So those are the tiers. Let's get started with the ranking. Okay, so first we have Playing for Keeps, and this is a semi-classic. It's not really one of those ones that's popular. Even with me, I don't think I would rate it as Gone per se, but it's also something that I really would enjoy watching. It's funny, it's wholesome, it's a bit naughty, so I do think I'd put it in Puppy Love. Okay, and second on the list is It's a Date. So I don't want to lie, I found this movie to be pretty boring. It's giving kind of Hallmark vibes. I mean, we love black leads, we love black romance, but it wasn't really a movie that I would go out of my way to watch. I don't think it was particularly funny. It had more of a romantic tone, but even with the romance, the characters didn't really give me the charisma, you know, and they didn't have that chemistry I needed. So I think with this one, I'd put it in I wouldn't say no. Okay, and third we have Funny for Rees Lobola. I don't want to lie, I'm a complete hater about this movie. It's not my favorite movie. I don't think it's funny. I think it relies a lot on stereotypes, like South African stereotypes, but it also doesn't really pull them off that well. It's just one of those films that I didn't find to be very funny. It was trying to make social commentary also about like cross-cultural and interracial relationships, but I don't think it even did that stuff well. So with this, it's gonna have to be my first I'm ghosting. Next we have Welcome to the Family. So with this movie, I thought the mothers were the funniest characters. Honestly, the leads, like the main guy and the main girl, just weren't giving what needed to be given. I think the parents of the guy were like way funnier, but also it did rely on that type of like really loud, not slapstick comedy, but just loud characters and like all out there. So it's not really for me. I think personally I would put it in I wouldn't say no. Like if they had this on at home, I'd probably watch it, but it's not a movie that I'm gonna seek out. And next we have A Nice Girl Like You. So this film stars Lucy Hale, and I thought it was really, really funny. I was actually pleasantly surprised. It's definitely a puppy love film for me. I would highly recommend it. It's very chill, it's very fun, but I would not watch this one with my parents. And next we have The Nutty Professor and The Nutty Professor 2. So The Nutty Professor is one of those films that's very of its time. It uses the whole fat suit, one actor playing multiple characters type of humor. And for me, honestly, this is not a film that I would particularly enjoy. I watched it for the review and I was like, it is so dated. I love Eddie Murphy. I think he's hilarious, but I don't think this is his best work. He has films that are still so funny, like maybe Daddy Daycare is a very wholesome one that I find to be funny, but this one just relies too much on the fat humor and it's so dated and it just makes you want to cringe. So I'm putting it in the ick. Sorry, Eddie Murphy. And if the first film was bad, the second one was so much worse. So The Nutty Professor 2 was just, yeah, it was not for me. I didn't like the humor. And I love Janet Jackson, but I don't think they had good chemistry precisely because the film relied on that type of like cringy, fatphobic comedy. And now we get into the South African movies. Okay, so the next movie is Mrs. Right Guy, and I really love Dineo Moeketsi, but this film for me, I feel like didn't do her justice because she could have been so much funnier, and they made her sort of like the uptight character, but not uptight in a fun way. I feel like characters can sort of be snarky and uptight in a cute way, but they made her really boring. But I loved the romance part of the film. I really, really did. So, oh God. I would have put it in Gone if it was funnier, but I'm gonna put it in Puppy Love just because I don't think it was funny enough to be a romantic comedy. It was more romance than anything else and drama than anything else. So next, we're gonna have a very weird one, and this one is called Happily. And I don't think this should be called a romantic comedy, but that is what they are calling it. And it's interesting. It will subvert your expectations. So if you're someone who loves dark comedy, definitely would watch. I love dark comedy, so I would like rank it highly. I'm going to put it in Puppy Love, but the thing that's making me not put it in Gone, because I think it's a very innovative film, I would have put it in Gone. The thing that's making me not put it in Gone is the ending. I really didn't like it. I found it to be underwhelming, so I'm just going to put that movie in Puppy Love as well. So the next film is another South African one, Love Lives Here, starring Thando Tabete, and I really liked this one. The main character was so sweet, and I just loved the storyline. I loved Lungile as well in this film. I thought they had a lot of chemistry, which is always a bonus. So this one I'm putting it in Gone. It's gonna be my first South African film in the Gone tier, and it just made me feel good. What Mrs. Right Guy lacked in the comedy and the heat with the spiciness, I feel like this one really had that, and I just loved it. Okay, next film. This is probably one of my favorite romantic comedies that I've watched. Celeste Ntuli is hilarious. Like, she's a comedic genius. So I definitely would put this in Soulmates. I think everyone should watch this one. And I think that's what the Soulmates tier is for. It's for the films that you love, that you would recommend for everyone else. And I love how it's very South African, and it relies on subverting the typical romantic comedy tropes, but it's also a romantic comedy. It has the steaminess, it has the heat. Even though Celeste's character is funny, she's still a leading lady, and you can feel that. You can feel the romance and the passion between her and her various love interests. Also, it has an amazing ending, which I'm a sucker for. And those are your Showmax rom-coms ranked. I really hope you guys watch these movies and enjoy them. Thank you for watching this video.